A Canada International Development Job Guide. Chapter 1. Canada International Development Jobs. Canadian International Development Job Websites. Canadian International Development Agency. 5th FL. Place du Centre. 200 Promenade du Portage. Hull, QCK1A0G4. 800-230-6349. 819-997-5006. Fax, 819-953-6088. info@acdi-cida.gc.ca. acdi-cida.gc.ca. acdi-cida.gc.ca/IYIP, Canadian International Development Agency Youth Internship Program. crcid.org, Canadian Rotary Committee for International Development. crediel.qc.ca, Regional Education for International Development, French. idrc.ca, International Development Research Centre, Canada. international.gc.ca/international/index.aspx?lang=eng, Canadian Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Canadian World Job Websites. 1. amili.com, Internships in Latin America. brocu.ca/career-services/students-alumni/find-job/work-abroad/going-global. canadacorps.gc.ca. canpol.ca, Police, Security Services. canuckabroad.com/overseasjobs/overseasjobs.html. careerbookstore.ca. careers.yahoo.ca, Canada. cbie.ca/index_e.htm, Canadian Bureau for International Education Awards for Study Abroad. compusmart.ab.ca/icdr, some job books. csih.org/en/index.asp, Canadian Society for International Health. cuso.org, Canadian version of Peace Corps. cuso-vso.org/volunteer, Canadian University Students Overseas, CUSO. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/Latin America. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/Latin America/Aboriginal-n.asp, opportunities for Canadian First Nation people to work in Latin America. educ.queensu.ca/plakment, teachers overseas. Employment. escapeartist.com. ewb.ca, Engineers Without Borders. fpa.org, Foreign Policy Association, job postings. globalrecruit.com, Global Consulting Group, Inc. globecareers.com. globecareers.com. goabroad.com. goabroadfair.ca, Toronto. iagora.com. international.gc.ca/about-a-propos/contact_us-contact-news-employment-employment-employee.aspx, international.gc.ca/about-a-propos/contact_us-contact-news-employment-employee.aspx. international.gc.ca/about-a-propos/contact_us-contact-news-employment-employee.aspx. international.gc.ca/jobs-employers/apply-inscription.aspx, Canada's Foreign Service. international.monster.ca. international.monster.ca/workabroad/links. internationalstudent.com. jobs-employs.gc.ca/index-eng.htm, Canada's Public Service. jobs-etc.ca. jobs-etc.ca. library.umassmed.edu/ihoc, International Healthcare Opportunities Clearinghouse, Doctors Without Borders.org. mastersandscribes.com, books. mediacorp.ca, 800 361-2580, books. MSF.ca, Doctors Without Borders. Anywint.org, New Internationalist Magazine, 800-661-8700. Outpostmagazine.com, 800-759-1024. phcanada.com, Book Passport to Overseas. Redar.ca, Non-Profits. RileyGuide.com/internet.html. Swap.ca, Working Holiday Programs. Time.ca, look for Guardian Weekly which has job ads. VergeMagazine.ca. Voyage.gc.ca/publications/work-abroad_travail-e-tranger-eng.asp, Foreign Affairs and International Trade. vsocan.org, 888-876-2911, volunteering. who.ch.per/vacancies/index.htm, who vacancies for experienced professionals. workingoverseas.com. workingoverseas.com, Canadian Guide to Working and Living Overseas. myworldabroad.com, requires subscription. carleton.ca/ISSO, Carleton's International Student Service Office organizes the International Student Exchange Program, 128 University Center. carleton.ca/SEO/community-service-learning, Carleton's Student Experience Office organizes an alternative spring break program, featuring international community service learning trips. charityvillage.com/job and volunteer posting site includes listing of NGOs doing international development work. goingglobal.com, country-specific information on job searching and cultural norms. acdi-cida.gc.ca/internships: list of international development internships for post-secondary graduates up to 30 years old. izc.ca/carleton/n, international student-run leadership organization including internships. iaesd.sa.queensu.ca, international exchange program for full-time Canadian students. Canadian World Job websites too. campusaccess.com/internships/index.html. The Canadian Department of Foreign Affairs, FATE, offers information regarding working and traveling abroad on this site. international.gc.ca/experience. myworldabroad.com, fee charged. goingglobal.com, fee charged. glassdoor.com, look at companies including company salaries, reviews and interviews. vault.com, employers, education programs, job search advice, salary. workingincanada.gc.ca. careercruising.com, this site provides detailed information on careers including typical career descriptions, salary levels, required education, and sample career paths. Login, Carleton password, University. talentag.ca. charityvillage.ca. workopolis.com. Go Global Expo. letsgoglobal.ca. Monster College. college.monster.com. Waterloo International, Go Abroad. uwaterloo.ca. Federal Student Work Experience Program, FSWEP. jobs-employis.gc.ca. SWAP, Student Work Abroad Program. swap.ca. Teaching English Abroad. transitionsabroad.com. Exchanges Canada. exchanges.gc.ca. Escape Artist. escapeartist.com. Monsters International Sites. english.monster.ca. The Riley Guide, International Job Opportunities. rileyguide.com. Center for Intercultural Learning. Canadian Foreign Service Institute. 15, Bisson St. Hull, QCJ 8Y5 square meters. 800-852-9211. 819-997-5681. Fax, 819-997-5409. General help about working overseas. Queen's University Overseas Recruiting Fair. Placement Office. Faculty of Education. Queen's University. Kingston, on K7L3N6. Canada. educ.queensu.ca//plakman/recruiting.html. Canada International Development Studies job websites. careers.yorku.ca/my-degree/international-development-studies. casid-acedi.ca, Canadian Association for the Study of International Development. idrc.ca, International Development Research Centre. devstud.org.uk, Development Studies Association. acdi-cida.gc.ca, Canadian International Development Agency. iisd.org, International Institute for Sustainable Development. Canada International Studies job websites. careers.yorku.ca/my-degree/international-studies. futuristudents.yorku.ca/program/international_studies, international studies. Corporate Responsibility Officer. Macroeconomic Financial Analyst. Regional Consultant. Social Justice Commissioner. Think Tank Researcher. International Studies Association. isanet.org. European International Studies Association. eisa-net.org. British International Studies Association. bisa.ac.uk. Canadian Association for the Study of International Development. casid-acedi.ca. York University International Studies website. futuristudents.yorku.ca/program/international_studies. glendon.yorku.ca/international-studies. Canadian World Internship websites. international.gc.ca/development-develop payment/youth-june/ivo_17-psb_dixscpt.aspx?lang=eng, international, Canadian International Development Agency. globalplacement.com, international, global placement. goabroad.com/intern-abroad, international, internabroad.com. unescap.org/jobs/internships, international, United Nations, Asia and the Pacific. unce.org/oes/internships/internship_prog.htm, international, United Nations, Europe. un.org/departments/orem/sds/interns/h/index.htm, international, United Nations, New York Secretariat. volunteerinternational.org, international, Volunteer International. ielnet.org, international, Washington Internship Institute. crossculturalsolutions.org, education, cross-cultural solutions. Major Canadian World Trade websites. Try number 658.84 at the library. importsource.ca. cdnemb-washdc.org/trade/index.html, Canada USA Trade. edc.ca, Canada's Export Development Corporation. importsource.ca/gol/site.nsf/en/index.html, import source. canadabusiness.gc.ca. cebi.ca, Canadian e-Business Initiative. edc.ca, Export Development Canada. edc.ca/edc Financing. exporthelp.ca, 888-332-4225, Export Development Canada. exportsource.ca. international.gc.ca, international.gc.ca/commerce/index.aspx. infoexport.gc.ca. sourcescan.com, matches Canadian products to foreign buyers. ttcservices.ic.ga/epic/internet/ntcserv.nsf, Trade Team Canada Services Industries. AAEI.org, American Association of Exporters and Importers. AICBA.org, Association of International Customs and Border Agencies. alert.scc.ca/export alert/index $req about, export alert. APEC.org, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. BDC.ca, 877-232-2269, Business Development Bank. bdc.ca/pages/splashpage.aspx, Business Development Bank. brandcanada.agr.gc.ca, Branding Canada for the food and agriculture sector. Business in Canada. BuyUSAinfo.net. CAFDHA.ca, Canadian Federation of Trading House Associations. CanadaBusiness.ca/eng. CargoLogisticsCanada.com, Cargo Logistics Canada. CBP.gov, U.S. Customs and Border Protection. CBSA.gc.ca, Canada Borders Services Agency. CCBC.com, Canada-China Business. Serbanet.org, Canada-Eurasia-Russia Business Association, SERBA. CIPO.ic.gc.ca/eic/site/CIPO internet-topic.nsf/eng, Canadian Intellectual. CITT.gc.ca, the Canadian International Trade Tribunal. CME-MEC.ca, Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters. ConsumerInformation.ca, Canadian Consumer Information. CSCB.ca, the Canadian Society of Customs Brokers. DFAIT-MAECI.gc.ca. en.cccfna.org.cn, Chinese Chamber of Commerce. fit.ca/home.hdm, Forum for International Trade Training. foreign-trade-zone.com, Foreign Trade Zone Resource Center. GermanCanadian.com, German Canadian Business and Trade Directory. GermanChamber.ca. HanseGlobal.com, Import/Export e-commerce. hktdc.com/n-buyer, Hong Kong Trade Development Council. iecanada.com, Canadian Importers and Exporters. iecanada.com/industry_links.html #17, Global Electronic Trade Alliance. Importers.ca, Association of Importers and Exporters. Inspection.gc.ca/english/toast.shtml, Canadian Food. International.gc.ca/international International Trade Canada. italchambers.ca, Italian Chambers of Commerce. kpmg.ca, Business in Canada. palantir.ca/the Alliance, Exporters and Importers. rbcroyalbank.com/commercial/global, go global with your business, with RBC International Banking Solutions. scc.ca, Standards Council of Canada. sourcecan.com, B2B ads. statcan.ca, Statistics Canada. statcan.gc.ca, Statistics Canada. statcan.gc.ca/exp/index-eng.htm, Canadian Automated Export Declaration. taiwantrade.com.tw, Taiwan External Trade Development Council, TATRA. tc.gc.ca/road safety, Transport Canada Vehicle Admissibility. tfoc.ca/home.php, Trade Facilitation Office of Canada. tpusa.com/nafta_facts/canada.html, tpusa.com/nafta_facts/canada.html, Business in Canada. TradeNDcom.com. tradecommissioner.gc.ca, biztradeshows.com/Canada. tradecommissioner.gc.ca, Trade Commissioner Service. trademissions.ca. Tradenet.ca. Voyage.gc.ca/alt/pubs.asp. wd.gc.ca/eng/home.asp, Western economic diversification. york.ca/business/export+default+export+initiative.htm. Canadian World Trade websites /Canadian exporting websites. ccc.ca, Canadian Commercial Corporation. ats.agr.ca, info if you are exporting food. international.gc.ca/nafta-alana/menu-e.asp, NAFTA. newszoom.com/list/newspapers/Canada. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/Canada-magazine, the Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. international.gc.ca. international.gc.ca/Canada-magazine. canadabusiness.ca. cbc.ca/news. 207.61.56.166/services, Tariff Wizard. accent.net/cacqb/cacqb.htm, Bulgarian business. acdi-cida.gc.ca, 800-230-6349, Canadian International Development Agency. aces.agr.ca/progzer, program to help sell aquatic products worldwide. acoa.ca, Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency. agr.ca, Agri-Food Canada. agr.gc.ca, Agriculture. albro.ca/chkusa.htm, basic checklist about exporting things to the U.S. amceq.org, Quebec Association of Export Trading Houses. americascanada.org. apectariff.org, Tariff Database. apfc.org, Asia Pacific Foundation. apfnet.org, Asia Pacific Foundation. aptca.ca, Atlantic Provinces Trucking Association. asiandevbank.org. atlasvanlines.ca, Movers. ats.agr.ca, 888-811-1119, Agri-Food Trade Service. ats-sea.ag.ca/public/html-docs/e2801.htm, International Freight Forwarding Info. bcferries.com. bdc.ca, Business Development Bank. beaumartgroup.com, Truck Transport Guide. caltradereport.com. canada.com. canadafinlanddcc.com. canada-indiabusines.ca. canadapost.ca, Mail Delivery. canadianembassy.org. can-am.gc.ca/neb/runtime/search-e.asp, new exporters to border states. cbsa.gc.ca, Canadian Border Services Agency. cbsc.org, Business Service Centers. cbsc.org/alberta/content/us_reg.pdf, US regulations for Canadian exporters. ccacanada.com, Canada Council for the Americas. ccbc.com, Canada-China Business. ccc.ca, Canadian Commercial Corp. ccrcc.net, Czech Republic. Challenger.com, Trucking, Cambridge, on. Chamber.ca. ChinaX.com, China. chs-shc.dfo-mpo.gc.ca, Fisheries and Oceans. chs-shc.dfo-mpo.gc.ca/chs, Hydrographic Service. cic.gc.ca/English, Citizenship and Immigration Canada. cica.ca/cica/cica website.nsf/public, look for info on customs tariffs. ciffa.com, Canadian International Freight Forwarders Association. ciffa.com, International Freight Forwarders Association. cipo.gc.ca/ebusinable, learn about e-business. c2c.info. citt.gc.ca, International Trade. clubexport.ca, Quebec. cmhc.gc.ca, Program to help Canada's housing industry expand to the world. codinc.com. coal.ca, Freight Forwarder. conferenceboard.ca. corridors.gc.ca, Transportation System, Corridors for Trade. cra.gc.ca/customs/general/publications, customs and revenue. crossborder.com, World Business. csa.ca. Canadian Standards Association. csba.org.sg, Canada-Singapore Business. cscb.ca, Society of Customs Brokers. cteam.ca/ctw, Shipping Freight, Freight Forwarders. ctl.ca, Canadian Transportation and Logistics Magazine. cts.com/CDN Trade, Canadian Consulate in San Diego. dbrs.com, go to document search for info about the transportation subsectors. dcbj.com, Directory of Canadian Business in Japan. ded-ced.gc.ca, Canada Economic Development for Quebec. dfait-maeci.gc.ca, 800-267-8376, Foreign Affairs and International Trade. dfait-maeci.gc.ca, ECB, Export Control Site of the Canadian Government. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/EICB/general/brokers/HTM, List of customs brokers. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English missions, embassies worldwide. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English news/newsletter/KNAKES. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English/GEO/Asia/company.htm. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English/news/newsletter, Canadian Export Trade Newsletter. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English/news/newsletter/invest/INVENW, Investment News in Canada. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English/trade/handbook/menu.htm. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/GEO/USA, Trade with the US. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/EBOC-COAI, International Business Opportunities Center. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/ifinit. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/investcan, Program for Export Market Development. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/Mexico. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/Mexico, Trade with Mexico. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/NAFTA-ALANA, NAFTA site of the Canadian Government. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/res/English/hongtrad.htm, Hong Kong. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/res/English/singtrad.htm, Singapore. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/res/English/srieltrade.htm, Sri Lanka. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/res/FHAP/BDAsia.htm. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/TNA-NAC, Trade Negotiations and Agreements. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/USA/NEBS_00-E.ASP. edc.ca, 888-332-3320, 800-850-9626, Export Development. edc.ca, edcinfo.ca, Export Development. edc.ca/corpinfo/pubs, exporting. er.uquam.ca/nobel/r14160/economics, list of worldwide economic resources. exportingcanadaonline.com. exportingcanadaonline.com. exportmex.com, Mexico. exportsource.gc.ca, 888-811-1119. fac-aec.gc.ca, Canadian Foreign Service. fit.ca, 800-561 FIT, Forum for International Trade Training. globalx.net/cctu, Canadian Consulate in Silicon Valley. hansaglobal.com, import/export e-commerce. hazmatmag.com, hazardous materials management. iccc.org, Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. iceinline.com/home/panthony/tips.htm. idrc.ca, International Development Research Center. iesconet.com, Trade with Mexico. iie.com, Institute for International Economics. importers.ca, Importers and Exporters. infochain.org/directory/index.html, Canadian Association of Supply Chain and Logistics Management. infoexport.gc.ca, Canada World Trade. infoexport.gc.ca/businesswomen/menu-e.asp. infoexport.gc.ca/ifinit/menu-e, International Financing Information Network. infoexport.gc.ca/itc-e.asp. infoexport.gc.ca/PEMD, Program for Export Market Development. infoexport.gc.ca/registration/en/cc registration.jsp, Virtual Trade Commissioner. infoexport.gc.ca/section 2/export menu.asp. infoexport.gc.ca/trade, 800-267-8376. iStream.com Alliance, Alliance of Manufacturers and Exporters Canada. italchamber-tor.on.ca, Italian Chamber of Commerce. itscanada.ca, Intelligent Transportation Systems of Canada. jurock.com/cttia, Canada-Taiwan Business. klrin.com, Transportation and Warehousing, Mississauga. laidlaw.com, Transportation Management, Burlington, On. lakeboats.com, Great Lakes Shipping. logiroute.com, Logistics. magi.com/CJTC, Canada-Japan Trade. marineatlantic.ca, Ferries. marinetalk.com. macmillanpublishers.com, Canadian Customs Guide. mmdonline.com, Materials Management and Distribution. mover.net, Canadian Movers. multilanguages.com, Translating Services. nafta.net, North American Free Trade Agreement. ncr.dfo.ca, Fish Trade. northernstar.ub.ca/hauler.main.html, The Hauler, Supplier and Manufacturers Directory, Calgary. northstar.ca, 800-663-5288, helps small businesses expand to world markets. nsi-ins.gc.ca. nss.gc.ca, Canadian Search and Rescue Organizations. ntc-can.com, Norway. ontariogarage.com, Auto Centers Ontario. ontrack.on.ca, Open Network Trade Resources. ontrack.yourq.ca. ontruck.org, Ontario Trucking Association. pacificachting.net, List of marinas, BC. palantir.ca/the-alliance, manufacturers and exporters. parle.gc.ca, Parliament. portvancouver.com. pwgsc.gc.ca/text/home-e. railken.ca, Railway Association. Refer to my travel book for lists of Canadian bus companies, airlines, etc. reviewcta-examenltc.gc.ca, Transportation Act Review. rivtow.com, Tugboat Towing, Vancouver. royalbank.ca. sb.gov.bc.ca/smallbus/pdf/importing.pdf. British Columbia. sccc.ca, Sweden. scotiabank.ca/trade/index. shipnet.com, BC Shipping Directory. shipowners.ca. sourcecan.com, Big Business Database. statcan.ca, Statistics. stat-usa.gov. straightgis.gc.ca. straightgis.gc.ca/sc_coinf/ccc/ngdoc/homepage.html. straightgis.gc.ca/sc_mrkti/cid/ngdoc/index.html, companies importing goods into Canada. straightgis.gc.ca/sc_mrkti/ibinddc/ngdoc/101, market research. straightgis.gc.ca/sc_mrkti/tdsd/ngdoc/tr_home-p.html. straightgis.gc.ca/ssg/by18106e.html. straightgis.gc.ca/ssg/sc01071e.html. straightgis.ic.gc.ca. sunsonline.org/trade. swedentrade.com. swiss-network.com. synapse.net/ctic, Canadian translators and interpreters. tac-atc.ca, Transportation Association of Canada. tc.gc.ca, Transport Canada. tc.gc.ca/marinesafety/ships_and_operations_standards. tc.gc.ca/marinesafety/ships_and_operations_standards/registry, ship tc.gc.ca/pol/en/report/port_competitiveness_study. tc.gc.ca/pol/en/trade transport. tc.gc.ca/pol/en/trade transport/land transportation services.htm. tc.gc.ca/pol/en/trade transport/maritime transportation services, ship transport. tc.gc.ca/road safety, motor transport. tfoc.ca, Trade Facilitation Office, mostly for outside countries trading with Canada. toronto.jetro.org, Japanese business. tradeinit.ca, World Business. traceinternational.org, a non-profit association of multinational corporations and intermediaries. tradeport.ca. tradeport.org, United States trading with Canada. tradeport.org/ts/countries. tradeport.org/ts/countries/Canada. trucking.mb.ca. uk-canada-trade.org. ukrainetrade.com. usatrade.gov/website.ccg.nsf. warehouselogistics.org. wd.gc.ca, for Western business owners. web.idirect.com/tiger, many links to world business. westshore.com, coal export facility, Delta, BC. wiley.com/products/worldwide/Canada, some books. worldexport.com, Canadian exporters directory. worldweb.com/ubs. yank.ca, Transportation Co., Saskatoon, SK. yp.pl/ca, Polish Yellow Pages.